Well, welcome to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. I'm Harry Schroeder, and that good-looking young man next to me there is Ryan Miller. He's the head basketball coach at Murray State University. I've been wanting to get to know you for a while. I know that we've never met before. We've been around some similar people and have some mutual friends, but appreciate you taking time to hang out with us today.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate the great introduction.
These are exciting times, no doubt, for you at Murray State, and I'm sure every day is kind of a new adventure. But what is the biggest positive surprise since you took the job?
Well, I would say the community of Murray State, the Murray community, and the counties within the Murray community. I guess the people, the fan base, the support that you have here as the Murray State head men's basketball coach within the communities here in Murray and the surrounding communities has been probably the biggest surprise.
Super exciting to be there now. Before we dig deep, and I'm not going to try to super analyze your team or your roster or anything like that, but you've had involvement with a number of guys that have ended up in the NBA, and two of them, I live here in St. Louis, two of them St. Louisians,
Yep.
Patrick McCaw and Ryan Kalkbrenner. Talk about what you saw in those guys in their early days, their development, et cetera, on their way to the NBA.
Yeah, both were coached, first of all, by a really good high school coach, Pat's dad, Jeff McCaw. Really good coach. And then obviously they had talent. Patrick was different, obviously, than Kalkbrenner. Patrick was a combo guard, three-time NBA champ, I believe. Was unbelievable for us, his 2 years at UNLV. But his instincts for the game of basketball, his basketball acumen and IQ were really, really phenomenal. Plus, he had great length. He was one of the better defenders I've ever coached, 6'5". I don't remember his wingspan per se, but he was definitely a plus wingspan. And he always got his hands on balls, great defender, and then his ability to articulate and be able to execute plays were pretty phenomenal. I would remember writing up plays for him in the huddle, and usually you have to describe the why. What are we looking for? And Patrick already knew. If you could draw a play up, and he already knew what exactly was he looking for. You never had to tell him the why and what we're looking for in this particular player. His basketball IQ is phenomenal. And Kalkbrenner, obviously, he came to us at Creighton, 7'1", gangly, skinny guy, and his work ethic was phenomenal. He grew substantially his 5 years at Creighton, from a skinny 18-year-old to a 22-year-old man that dominated college basketball really, and was the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar winner last year, and was the best center in basketball. But most of those guys that go on and play in the NBA, they have a few things in common, and they have a great passion for the game. They have extreme work ethic, and they have a great basketball IQ. And those guys usually have a lot of success if you put talent in that mix.
So therefore, St. Louis will be a recruiting hotbed for you, right?
It should be, yeah. It was great players. I've been very fortunate with St. Louis basketball players, so we're going to get up there and get some.
We hope you do. Favorite? I want to take Creighton out of the mix. Mm-hmm. Your favorite coaching stop along the way that wasn't Creighton, and why?
Yeah, I get asked that question quite a bit, but they all have something.
You're not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to be very creative here. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. They all are dear to my heart for different reasons. And usually it's because of the people. Had an awesome stint at TCU. I would say that was one of my favorite. Now, the basketball brand wasn't great when we took over. They actually didn't win a game in the Big 12 the previous season before Dixon and our staff took over. So that was very rewarding to turn that program into a team that's competing for NCAA tournament berths in one of the best leagues in America. But again, like the UNLV, the history there, the nostalgia there, the Stacey Augmans and these Larry Johnsons and Tark era, that history is just, when I was a kid, that was it, man. The UNLV Running Rebels. So it was a great place to be. And then the New Mexico is awesome. Again, coaching with Coach Elford and taking over a program that had a history of being successful. Then they had a little dry spell, and being able to turn that program into a top 25 program with Coach Elford there was pretty awesome. But again, like most spots, it's the people. And then I would be remiss if I didn't talk talk about my time at Memphis with Coach Calipari, because that's where I got my break in as a video coordinator there. So just learning a lot and working with people and all this during the journey and during the stops was pretty awesome experience for me.
Coach Cal, I think, is obviously an elite, Hall of Fame coach and all that. What do people not know about him when they only see his professional persona, his media persona?
I mean, he's like that all the time. I mean, I've always said this about Coach Cal. Like, if he didn't coach basketball and he walked into a room, you would say, "Oh, that's somebody." He had an amazing charisma. He had an amazing way to market himself and market a program that I haven't been around. And I've coached with great coaches, so I haven't been around with a guy like that has that sort of charisma, the ability to light up a room, the ability to articulate and communicate with everybody in the room. He's a master marketeer, master politician, and obviously one of the best coaches in our game.
You obviously would have had many opportunities to move and to maybe take a head coaching job at a different time in a different place. Why now Murray State for Ryan Miller?
Yeah, Harry, I get asked that question a lot because you have a really good job. I was associate coach at Creighton. We had one of the best offenses in the country. I worked for a phenomenal coach and Coach McDermott. Really, really good assistant coaching job. So in this day and age of college athletics and college basketball particularly, you have to be very, very careful what job you take when you have a good job like I had. We're going to NCAA tournaments every single year, competing in the Big East, one of the best conferences in the country. So to take a head coaching job, you have to have a job that there's this alignment that happens from the president's office, the board of trustees, to the athletic department, to the coaching staff. And that alignment has to be on par with the changing dynamic in college athletics with NIL and transfer portal. So at Murray State, I saw great leadership with Nick Oyanko and Dr. Patterson and the board of trustees here that weren't afraid of the changing climate of college athletics. They were all in, and we're actively trying to be resourceful for our student athletes here and help them and guide them into this changing landscape with rev share and whatnot. And they were on board with this changing landscape. Not saying we're perfect here at Murray State and we have all the answers with the changing landscape, but they weren't afraid of it. And to have an administration that's not afraid of it, that's what you're kind of looking for.
Talk to me about Nick Oyanko. What impressed you about him in the early conversations, and how has that relationship developed? I'm a big fan, and obviously you guys have to be excited about the renovations of the arena as well.
No, from the first moment I met Nico was in New York City at the Big East tournament when he was interviewing me for the job. I knew that he was a guy that was a little bit of an outlier. Again, was not afraid of change. Was all in. He was a guy that we kind of use this acronym here. I got it from a previous coach of mine, Alan Huss, who's now he's the coach of waiting at Creighton, but he used the acronym CEO, change equals opportunity. And Nick was big time in this changing landscape. Okay, why can't we adjust and take on this changing climate of college athletics and attack it and be one of these programs that when there's change happens, that we are not just sitting back and being participants in the game. We're actual players in the game. And that's what really drew me to him. Obviously, he's a great leader. I mean, we've got great changes happening here with facility upgrades, $30 million renovation to the CFSB Center, which is already a nice facility. So he sees this changing. He sees this changing landscape in college athletics, and he's just diving into it, and he's showing great leadership along the way.
I grew up loving sports because of my dad. Mm-hmm. And I have a reverence for golf because of my father, the way he revered the game of golf. You come from a basketball family, so you get your love of basketball naturally. But beyond family, talk about the game and what you love about the game, and maybe the life lessons, however you formulate your affection for hoops.
Well, like you said, I have really no choice to be in this game. A rich history of in South Dakota anyway, family members being involved in the game. People ask me all the time, when did you start playing basketball? There was no start. When I was popped out of my mom's womb, they threw a ball to me. That's how I got involved in the game. But the biggest thing I love about the game, I love the competition. I love the ability to compete now as a coach and as a former player, going out there and just, work really hard and do all the work in practices and preparation. And when the lights are turned off, and then being able to showcase all that hard work, whether it's coaching staff or players in the games. And the competition is what I enjoy the most about it. And the relationships. I mean, when you go through having a team, and when you go through these, we're practicing today at 2, and we're going to practice pretty hard. And, you're going through these everyday battles every single day with each other to form that bond, and that you can't take away for your whole life. You're going to be, we're connected. This group of 15 players and 14 coaches, 29 people are connected for the rest of our lives in some capacity. So that unity and that connection is awesome too.
Are you competitive away from the game? Like when you're throwing darts, are you mad when you don't hit the center? I mean, like what kind of guy are you away from the basketball court?
I just hate losing. So I hate losing, period. So it's just one of those things that, when I was a child, I cried when I lost, and now I basically cry when I lose too now. But I also learn, and then I buck up, and then we try to figure it out why we lost, and then we try to figure that out.
My family accuses me of being competitive, so I get it.
Yeah.
When I played high school basketball, what I learned to love about basketball was all that teamwork, the inner working of this guy having a role, this guy having a role, all of us having to play together. How important is that for a team to get that in its DNA and its personality?
I mean, that's what makes it a successful team. I mean, everybody has a role, and those roles can be developed and changed over time. But everybody, when we step on the court November 3rd, everybody's going to have a duty to do, whether it's the head coach or whether it's the point guard or whether it's the center. They all got a specific job, and they got to do their job at the maximum capacity as possible at elite level. Like Belichick had in his office, and they had one thing at the New England Patriots practice center: do your job. And it's talking about everybody has a job to do, and do it at the best of your ability possible. And that's what we try to do.
You brought 3 guys that had played at Creighton with you at certain points with you to Murray State. And I know that they are good basketball players. But I remember when Josh Schertz showed up at Indiana State, he brought a number of his Division II guys with him that obviously could perform at a high level. But he talked about bringing corporate knowledge to the program. How important is the understanding of how you want to do things enhanced by bringing King and Miller and Stolzberg with you?
Yeah, that was very important to us. I mean, obviously, we have a specific way we like to do things. It's very similar to what Coach Mack and the culture that he developed at Creighton. We're going to do things a little different, obviously, because we're going to put our DNA and our little spin on it. But it was very important for us to create our culture early. When these 3 guys were in the transfer portal, we attacked it hard because not only for their basketball skill level, but like you said, their ability to be coaches on the floor, the ability they understand our coaching staff already, and to be able to take those 3 guys to be able to articulate the culture that we're trying to instill to the rest of the players was very important to us as we build this team and build this culture here at Murray State.
I don't want to dig deep into the roster. We could sit for hours and analyze each player, but you went international for a number of guys as well. And I think schools, mid-majors, maybe the high majors as well, but the mid-majors are figuring out they need to get international pretty quick, don't they, to be able to compete in the desire for growing talent and maturity on a team?
Yes, you said the word maturity, no question about that. I think, the international kids, they play in club basketball, which is much different than high school basketball. In high school basketball, you're playing against your peers. So if you're the best player at 13, 14, 15, that's going to eventually end up at college like Murray State, you're playing against your peers. So you're probably the best player all the time. You probably play all the minutes. You probably get all the shots. You probably all that stuff. So 15, 16, 17, 18, all that stuff's happening for you. So your role has been defined like I'm a scorer or whatever it is. I'm playing every single minute. So when they come into our level, there's a learning curve, obviously, because the other 14 players that are on the roster, they're also their best players in their high school team. Mm-hmm. If you add transfer portal stuff, they're also really good players. The transfer portal, some of them have learned lessons of how to find a role or how to fit in college basketball. So they have that maturity level too. But it's very difficult this day and age because these kids have been the best players and they played all the minutes. And all of a sudden I'm telling them, hey, there's a process to this. I mean, we're going to get you going. We're going to, get you right. But it's going to be like maybe your first year you're playing 5 minutes a game or not at all. Maybe redshirting you, whatever the case may be. But that's very hard for them to compute in their head. Where internationals are 15 years old, they're playing in club basketball. And so they're playing against 35-year-old men already. So like there's a process, like they kind of have a better understanding of the process just because of the club aspect of it. They're never their best player. They're maybe the most talented player, physically gifted player, but they were never the most ready player to play, I guess I should say. So they kind of understand the process and the maturity level of, your first freshman year, we're just trying to get our foot on the ground. Sophomore year, I have a bigger role. Junior, I might be all conference, and senior year, maybe I'm player of the year. Who knows what their journey looks like? But they kind of have a better idea of that. And number one, they have a maturity level that's a little bit on scale of what we're trying to look for. Number two, the NIL and the rev share deal has allowed for a lot of kids that would go the club pro route are now coming to America. So then now there's this big swath of players that would have probably played club basketball, like a kid like Roman Domon that are with us now, or Matisse Corbon. Both of them probably in the past would have played French club basketball and hopefully moved up the ladder and maybe to EuroLeague. But they're coming over now. So definitely we got to take advantage of those situations. They're very talented individuals and players. And the European model of basketball is very similar to what we do here with space and pace and flow basketball. So it kind of fits what we're trying to do.
Your coaching staff obviously is the foundation of what you're trying to build there, meaning those are the guys you're going to be building with for a while. Talk about those coaches and what those men are bringing culturally and maybe experientially.
Yes, I mean, I'll start with Coach Mullins. Coach Mullins is here with the previous staff. He has like 9-10 years of Missouri Valley Conference experience. None of our coaches, including myself, have coached in the Missouri Valley Conference. So to have someone with that type of experience in the league, I've watched it and I've coached against them very few times, because when you're coaching the Big East or the SEC or the Big 12, you don't really want to play Missouri Valley Conference teams because the level of basketball is so good and you don't get a lot of credit for it. So having a guy with experience in the league was very important. Having young guys that I've coached and recruited at some capacity was very important. Guys like Madrakus Wade, who I recruited when I was at New Mexico. I went to go play at Arkansas. Colin Neal, I saw grow up. Coached with his dad at New Mexico. Was a great player at New Mexico, Ole Miss, and St. Mary's. Then he was coaching in Hawaii. To bring his knowledge, his experience, and the family ties there was very important to me. Hiring a GM, Ernie Kuiper, being able to help me manage the business landscape of college athletics was very important. And then Jahans Meneget, who is a great player in the Missouri Valley Conference for Creighton and knows our Creighton culture. Guys like that. All these guys were very, very important. Former players like Jerome Seegers, Kevin Easley, guys that know me and know my personality. I'm a little bit of a fiery guy on the court. So those guys could be able to help me mitigate and talk through and communicate to our players. Hey, he's coached a little crazy, I know, but he means well. It's important.
When you think about that, what will November 3 be like being the head coach of a Division I program for the first time in your career? And people talk about that 18-inch move from one chair to the next. Obviously, you've been around the game forever. It's not going to be culture shock, but it will be different.
Yeah, of course. When you're the CEO of a program as good as Murray State, and then you have a history of this program at Murray State with coaches and players and all the great stuff. There's a huge responsibility, especially when you're the head coach. So our responsibility is to honor the past and do it with our work ethic every single day. We're not going to do everything perfect, but I'm going to tell you, we're going to work hard, and we're going to put out a group of guys out there that want to be unselfish. They're going to play for Murray State. They're going to be tough, both mentally and physically. And they're going to be a together group, a group that's really tight knit together, and they're going to compete their tails off. And that's what we're going to do. So again, we're not going to be perfect, but we're going to try to be as perfect as we can be. And it's going to be a big challenge because, like I said, the history here and to honor that history and to live up to those standards that Murray State has is going to be a big challenge for us.
You led me into my next question. At your press conference, you talked about 3 things you're going to be committed to, the things you just mentioned: unselfishness, toughness, and you said competitiveness. How do you build that into a team? What's the process of building that into your players?
The unselfish component is very hard these days because of the landscape of college athletics. Everybody's trying to make a move, even coaches to a certain degree, to better their future and better them. So sometimes you have to be unselfish in this sport. You have to be unselfish. You have to define a role. Else you're not going to be successful. Coach McDermott always told me that in the recruiting process to finding players, you have to find unselfish individuals because it's very difficult to look at a player through the recruiting process and a selfish kid, and then, okay, he's selfish, but he's very talented, we'll take him in. He always told me it's very difficult to take a selfish individual and make him unselfish. So the kids we bring in, number one, the character of the kids. Are they naturally unselfish people? Are they for the team? Are they for we versus me? We believe, and I believe to my heart, is like, if we come together as a team and do what we're supposed to do, the individual success will follow. It's not the other way around. We don't think that if I look out for me all the time and then you're going to have great individual success past that. I always tell the kids, the highest scoring kid points per game in college basketball, are they ever drafted? No. Are the most efficient? Are the teams that play on championship teams? Are they drafted? Yes, they are. And that's what we're trying to instill with the guys that, number one, like I said, we're going to recruit unselfish guys. And 2, we're going to put in the DNA that we're going to do this together so we can so the individual success can follow that. And then 2, we're going to be tough. I mean, every single day, we're going to challenge them, both mentally and physically, in the weight room, on the court, trying to see where their breaking point is. I mean, we're going to push them very, very hard. So when tough times come, because they're going to come, I mean, we're going to go through a stretch where we give up a game we're not supposed to, or we miss shots we're not supposed to, or whatever it is. There's going to be some adversity. How can we push through that adversity? Our training and our level of training will help us push through that adversity. So we'll be very mental and physical tough, and then compete in every drill, every second, every day, and we do that in practice. And we compete, like we're doing team events, and this is how we're building our culture. We're doing team events like paintball, and we're competing. We're competing to see coaches versus players, who's going to win.
Come on.
Yeah, come on, let's go. So everything we do, there's a competitive aspect to it. We're going to do a team softball event, coaches versus players. We do bowling where we pick teams, and we're bowling to win. That's the purpose of the game, to win. And we'll give up some prizes for winners and whatnot. But sometimes they're coaches intermixed with players. Sometimes it's coaches versus players. But we're trying to find ways to the name of the game. It's like taking the Denny Green line. We play the game to win, and that's what we're doing.
Appreciate your time today. Final thought: 2 or 3 of your best friends that are not basketball people. Maybe, yeah, because of the way your life is run, maybe there's not a ton of those people.
I mean, that's a good question. That's a really good question. It has to be my family. I mean, my daughters, they're not basketball people. I'd say Millie and Hallie, I'd probably that, probably my family. They're not much basketball people, but they kind of are, because they go to every game and they cheer like crazy, and then they live and die with every shot or every missed shot. But there's not very many of them, because this is my world. Like I said, my mom and dad, for fortunately or unfortunately, put a basketball in my hand when I was an infant. So I've been surrounded by the game my whole life. So everybody that's in my inner circle is probably basketball related in some capacity, whether they're agents or coaches or players or whatnot. They're all probably in that network.
Appreciate your time today. Wish you the best of luck. We love, of course, everything that's going on at Murray State, and just to expect great things for you and the Racers.
Well, I appreciate it, Harry. Thank you for your time.
That's head coach Ryan Miller of the Murray State Racers. Brand new roster, brand new coaching staff. Should be fun to watch. Appreciate you watching today, folks. Remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon.